Okay, so I got another Bitcoin update for you guys. I'm going to go over the charts. If you're new, this is good. I'm going to go over a lot of major important, at least, fib structures and value structures within the chart that I've been paying attention very closely. If you guys are not new, you probably are already going to know what's up. I got a trade I closed out that I opened up Friday. I'm going to go over it real quick. So I had a short position that I opened up once we broke a swing low I mentioned in a previous video. I opened up a short-term position, $10,000 invested into SBIT to take advantage of more down pressure on Bitcoin. And I did close this one out early for two reasons. I'm going to go over that in a moment. But overall, I took a picture because the moment I closed the trade, and by the time I do a video, it cycles through and it doesn't give you the open. But $258.91 on a short trade. It was a 24-hour long small swing trade, and again, I'm gonna go over that in a moment. There was not a update video yesterday because I was out at a party. I was very fortunate to meet someone very interesting and quite outstanding, actually. So I was spending time and no video, but we are making up for it today. But there wasn't really a whole lot to talk about at the end of the day because Bitcoin is sort of just fluctuating within a fib structure we have right here. But basically, the point, just so you won't have to go back to the previous video, but the moment we were fluctuating within this short-term support that ended up breaking, I wanted to take a short position because the moment the price broke below this candle swing low right here, in my head, I told myself, I'm like, okay, well, now it looks like we're paying attention to the next, support area, which I mentioned the blue area is much more significant than the orange one because it factors in the overall move that we have right here. And exactly that, we came down, we did break below it a little bit, but shortly broke back into it, and we're fluctuating within it right now. So at that time, I said, well, in order for me to close this swing trade, either we're taking profit within the purple, we're going to let it do its thing, fluctuate, take profit in the purple when it finds resistance within the yellow. If not, if it ends up breaking the yellow and it actually breaks 107,000, which will let the price break over the blue, break over the 120 moving average, and then potentially start retesting swing highs, and we can potentially be looking at a very shallow corrective move on what's a overall downtrend that we are in. So currently, this downtrend is still alive because we never maxed out this blue fib retracement area. So yeah, I'm gonna get to why I closed the trade out early in a moment. Two reasons, but we never saw enough bullishness to push the price into the premium section of this blue. That's absolutely fine. That's why we take every fib line structure as a small chance to shave positions off and lock in profits. But at the end of the day, we never broke over this swing high within the blue, indicating that overall the price is still down. We had a nice move right here down. If you guys like Elliott waves, this is a fairly actually decent five move structure to the downside because the origination of this created a kind of support area and extension to look at, and it used it as support to kind of go up a little higher, break small picture resistances, show that there is enough bullish momentum to go into an overall retracement, which is the yellow, broke over the 0.5 retracement at 106,200 before finishing that wave. Now, if you like Elliott waves, basically this is just the completion of 5-wave move down, completion on a overall first wave down, on an overall 3-wave move. So then we're potentially completed the second one and we're moving down, but we don't really have confirmation on this just yet because as of right now we are holding a higher low. So this is what I'm looking for, and I'm going to explain that in a moment. I'm going to finish that short-term trade I wanted to complete real quick. But basically, the moment the price started pushing up higher, there was so much volume, and things were very clear that there's a lot of volume. We can see a quick bullish recovery into retracement before the price tops out and finishes, coming down lower into deep value. In my opinion, amazing buying opportunity in deep value. I don't think it will last too long, and then that can potentially lead us to much higher prices. So I really want to take advantage of that. But as of right now, due to the fluctuative nature we have here, due to this creating very weak but still significant sort of like swing highs and swing lows within the structure, creating an uptrend. It wasn't all in one swift motion. It was a lot of choppiness and a lot of indecisiveness in the price, which means that, you know, maybe bears are not as strong as they are at the moment. As you can see, the price continued to hold, so that was accurate. So I closed out the short position and took that profit on it because the expected volume was not there. Instead, we're seeing that choppiness. It wasn't a very clean setup, or at least a very clean move. So I wanted to get out early because of that. And then the second reason is that this is the day after I opened the trade. And again, if you guys know, a lot of these short-term trades, I do not like to hold for more than, you know, the following day. It's to take advantage of quick fluctuations. In this case, we did not have a quick fluctuation. Again, very choppy, very indecisive price action. So what I'm looking at now to open up a new short-term trade, just in my own opinion, just what I'm looking for, what I'm doing. And this does not mean that you should copy. It just means this is what I'm doing. I'm just sharing you guys, you know, how I view the charts. But basically, with this at the time, because I didn't make an update video yesterday, but at the time it was clear enough to take advantage of this weak sort of like wicks within these candles, because they're significant enough, they stretch out enough to me to want to pay attention to them. Shows that if we continue to hold support, and support being, you know, the swing high right here, it can be just holding above this line to create enough bullish momentum to stretch into a higher fib extension area, which is absolutely fair, because stretching up to this area allows the price to fill in some imbalances we have here. They're a lot more clear on the 2, even the 4-hour time frame for candles, but it allows us to fill this area and allows us to sort of come back into this fluctuative nature we have right here and kind of fill in the zone. And then you can sort of back that up. And I'm going to delete these because it just fills the screen way too much. But it's, you know, you can also now, since we have more fluctuations, you can take advantage of this move higher, come down lower to kind of get a nice measurement in. As you can see, it still overlaps. It shows potential possibility of the price stretching higher if it continues to hold support into these areas before we then see the price finish that, you know, downtrend. Now, as of this moment, I do not want to take any short-term long positions because, you know, still volume is very weak to the upside in the short-term picture, because, you know, we didn't just come down. We came down quite smoothly on this one. There wasn't a lot of choppiness like we saw here. So, you know, there is still a lot of bearish downtrend. We are still on an overall downtrend, even though, you know, we had a quick drop and then a nice recovery, and we're holding a little bit of a swing high right here. Overall, the picture is lower highs, and we did not break over this one to try to push out of the, you know, the yellow retracement area, which is a resistance at the moment. We couldn't break over that. We're still holding below this, and this just shows that, you know, maybe it's time to just be a little bit patient with it and wait for a proper setup to occur, because in my own opinion, the more attractive setup would be looking for these smaller picture supports to break, and then that would allow me to open up new short positions, short-term short positions, to continue the overall objective I had on the previous short position, which was to continue to short Bitcoin until we have a confirmed low, or until we have prices within deep value, which at this point I am much more interested in accumulating a overall swing trade that I will hold as the price eventually works its way up to much higher prices. So I'm going to keep you guys updated on this. There's not a whole lot of reasons for me to give a whole lot of different scenarios. I'm just going to wait for the setups to happen, and I'll show you guys what I'm doing. You know, just educational or just like entertainment purposes, just to show you guys what I'm doing. But once we get more information on these charts, a better setup, we can confirm that, hey, you know, we're actually maybe not going up to that 108 to 109 area potentially. or even, you know, between 107 to 108 if you want to be more conservative. Um, I'm looking for that. I'm also looking for potential weakness to indicate that we are finally just done with this kind of like bullish correction within a downtrend, and we can finally come down, just finish off the value, finally accumulate, and then ride the price much, much higher and lock in profits in a more significant swing trade. So I guess if I'm going to end this real quick, it's always important to kind of keep an eye on overall, overall resistance on this downtrend, which is between, in my opinion, 105.5K to 107.6K. The reason I'm not going to leave this here is because in my opinion, the 120 moving average does a very, very good job at this. I've seen just in my own opinion, Bitcoin like to flirt and dance around the 120 moving average so often, and my mouse just ran out of battery. I need to plug it in, but basically, yeah, it's going up to the 120 moving average, see if we can use that as resistance, or just finally push out short-term bulls just over the 120 moving average, so we can continue to finish off this corrective move, and then after that, finally start looking at making more significant long positions. But at the moment, again, I'm still looking for short opportunities until we have a confirmed low, and then the purple area is what I'm looking at for the most part. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.